What's wrong with her? Oh, fuck. No. Oh, shit. She's got super strength. Shit. I feel like I should say this.
I've been dreaming of the day when you would finally tell me. I love you, Mr. Jefferson.
Call me Mark. We need to play catch up on all the time we've wasted. Especially since there's nobody left in your life. I love you too, Max.
God. I just need a second. Fuck. It's getting to me right now. My God. My heart right now is just... It'll kill me. Swear to fucking Christ. Jesus. God, I absolutely hate with a passion moments like this.
Stay away.
No. Where is it? There it is. Oh. Hey man, how you doing? Oh, motherfucker. No. Oh, TJC distracted me.
Jess, are you there?
Jess, you bitch. Motherfucking Christ. Yep.
Sentry gun needs assembly.
Fuck, man. Oh shit. Oh. Crying out loud. Go away. Oh shit, they're behind as well. Bad spot. Oh shit. No. Yeah, the one that turns invisible has to come visible every time to shoot you.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How we doing? Wait, hello. I got glasses on today. Hello. The glasses were the first thing I saw. Hello, Jetta. Hello, Blongy. Hello, Zuna. Hello, Jetta. How you doing? How's everyone going? I'm gonna move on this side actually. How we doing? How's everyone going? It was so good to catch up and see everyone on the weekend as well. It was really nice meeting you, Jetta. Yeah, but hopefully next time we'll be able to do it in a much more smaller place so we can have conversations. I really like the Netherworld part. Vibes were really good. Yeah. It just sucked that because once we got to the maze, it was really hard to converse because it was so loud, but was good. Hey, Rolky, how you doing? Yeah, no, it was a good a weekend. Red Rocker still scares me. Yeah. Everyone kind of changed their color. Nerf is a different color, not yellow anymore. Rolkus has changed. I've changed. Just means I'm fast. Fuck. Jesus, I've had the same color for like 7 years. Yeah, I didn't really play around with color on Twitch. And then, I don't know. So, we only have this color too. Oh, nice. I know Mandy changes it each year. Was it? But no, today I was going to play some Silent Hill 2. But the amazing Scotch Pig has gifted me the game Dark Pals. So we'll be playing that. And it'll be a shorter stream today as well, just because I'm EP. I think everyone's just EP this weekend. I know Bella's having a short stream. Scotch is having a short stream. So, yeah. Just the day for it. Good evening, Marty. You look tired, mate. Oh, there you go. You're EP. Yeah. Hello. How you doing, Scots? Welcome in. Yeah, it's also, I think, the glasses as well, because usually I wear contacts on stream. Imagine if he wasn't tired. What does that mean? Zuna, what are you getting at? Yeah, nerd. Nerd. Actually, I had sleep last night, which is probably why I feel weird today. You actually had sleep? Oh, well, I'm glad you got some sleep though, Janther. Hey, Griffey, how you going? Welcome in. Nerd? Hated that. Absolutely hated that. Don't want to do too much on Labor Day. No, 100%. 100%, Jeddah. And the thing is, we get, I think our Labor Day is different, right? We do Labor Day up here at a... Okay, there's an ad break. God, why is it so aggressive? Comes up on stream, comes up down here. We have Labor Day now, and then there's another Labor Day for everyone else later in the year. So, yeah, all states are different. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy. Men don't get offended to people telling them they look tired, or at least I don't. When I worked in hospitality, I was tired basically 90% of the time, and I don't think I ever got tired for it. And now I'm just tired 100% of the time, and I don't get offended by it. So it's just how I look. Yeah, Octoberish for Vic. Yeah, I think it's the same for Adelaide as well, and I want to say New South Wales, but maybe WA. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, no. So today, yeah, we're going to check out Dork Pals. So I haven't seen really anything post demo. I haven't played the demo, but just watching Scotch and Sass play the demo. I was kind of in and out actually watching those. So there's parts of it that I'm well versed in, and then there's a lot that I don't. And I don't really know much about the full thing. I just know that both Sass and Fishy. Hello. Also, hello, Rolfie. Welcome in. Dork Pals. Yeah. Fishy, what are you doing? Thank you for subscribing, man. But you don't have to. Yeah, so I don't really know much about... I've seen like snippets from Sass and snippets from Scotch, but I don't know the full thing, so I know I don't have to, you dork. Yeah, well, I'm telling you, you don't have to, Fishy. But I want to. Yeah, well... It's perfect. Hey, Dan. We're playing Alpha. So yeah, So, yeah. So originally I was going to play Silent Hill 2. And then Scotchy threw Dork Pals at me. So I'm going to be playing that. Marty is a dork confirmed. Zuno. Bruh. Why are you like this? No. What do you mean no? I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. But no, today's going to be a bit of a shorter one. So basically, I think I'll play this and then skedads. And by the sounds of it, this is a shortish game. So depending on how much I've been told to kind of go into it from Scotchy, go into it with the dev mind. So that might make things a little bit longer, and I'll probably stop and be chatting about bits and bobs throughout. What is Fishy not worrying about? Is this a furry thing? Oh. Yeah. Dev to us, tell us the dev secrets. Things behind you in games aren't actually there. There you go. That's the secret, Zuno. Actually, in some games it is, and they're the most unoptimized games. So most games, the things behind you aren't actually there. That's how I feel when you're not fishy. I'm always here. Not real. No, I am. Fishy. Promise you fish. We hugged. We smooched. Fishy and I smooched. Hey Ken, how you doing? Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. How are you tonight, Martin? I hope everyone here is having a wonderful day. Dan, that's lovely for you to for you to say. I hope you're having a wonderful day as well, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Might take that back. Crawl through tiny pathways and stairs are often load screens. Yeah, and you mostly see them in console games as well, because consoles can't handle a lot. So, they compared to PCs. When meant to tell Dan, too late. That's good, Ken. That's good. That is grand. Yeah, so I think we should just jive into it. I click play. Don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe should have booted up beforehand. I don't know. The fucking room transition load opening a door on PS1. Yeah, 100%. Ooh, I'm lagging. Why do they create a name for Sleeping Beauty like 30 years after the fact? You dirty dog. You dirty dog. I don't know, Grateful Troll. Also, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Also, Zuna, do you make emotes? Dan, son of a bitch. Zuna, did you notice that the cam wasn't flipped and it didn't do the flippy thing? Because I fixed it. I fixed the flippy cam. Also, is stream. I'm kind of sad. I like the flippy cam. Well, maybe I can flip this, the camera here. This camera here. Maybe I can flip this one. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but maybe I can flip it. I can flip this one. That way, I made a mistake, Marty. Soon. Bring back the flippy. Oh my god. I'll flip this one around so then it looks like I'm... Actually, no, because when the game's on this one, I'm looking at the... Shit, okay. Well, now I've got to do flippy can. Alright, whatever. I'll fix it out. Yeah, okay, everyone liking the flippy cam. Jesus, alright, the people are... They're already riding, Zuna. My girlfriend said flippy cam is a sim. Yeah, well, mine didn't. But now you're looking at us. Yeah, exactly. But Griffin, they want me to... They want me to fix... I can't... Hang on. Also, I got to change the category because I gotta remember it's called Dark Powers, not Dork Powers. See, if I flip this one around, everyone's gonna be all, what are you doing? See, there we go. And then when I go here, I hate it. Hey, Sharpie, how you doing? Welcome in. See, there we go. Don't flip the main one. Zuna, I'm not flipping the little one. Ew, what are you doing? FP, I'm being told to flip shit. Rolfie, fuck, okay, well. Oh. Alright. Dork Powers was last night, mate. Yeah, it's true. That is true. Show us how long it takes you to flash blood. I have to bend my fingers. Grateful Troll? What? You okay, bud? Hey, Sith, how you doing? Welcome in. Jesus. Jesus. Jeez Louise. I suspect he might be a troll. Fishy, you might be right. You might be right. Groovy. Okay, well, let's dive in. Sherlock Holmes at levels of deduction. You just like see all the words. Troll in the name. Must be troll. Has 13. Could be the age of himself or his mental age. Mod me real quick. No. Wait, actually, I don't even think Zuna can't because she's not even head mod. Hey mod, Dan, real quick. Zuna, I don't even know how to make you head mod. If I click the mod thing, no, fuck, I'm just a baby. I know I should have dinner, but it's in the roles thing on dashboard. Yes, dashboard. Yeah, hold on. There's something's happening over this way somewhere. Shit, hang on. And I'm getting to the roles manager. There we go. Zunicorn. I don't know what's happening. There we go. It's in your mod settings. I have 3 mods: Mandy, Dan, and Sass. Hey Serby, how you doing? Welcome in. Am I evolving? You are. Zuna just evolved to lead mod. Fuck. This might be a problem, actually. What could go wrong? Rolfie, I don't... everything and anything could go wrong, honestly. Zuna evolved to lead mod. She learned Hammer. Oh, Zuna, Zuna has obtained true evolution. Yeah, I think she has. Thank you, Fishy. Honestly, nothing. Zuna is a saint. You did meet Zuna. Moot Zuna? Meet Moot? Meet Moot? You did meet her. Mootin. Don't know why that's got me. Mootin. Boot, mootin, scootin', baby. I think I have small addiction to this game. Warframe? Yeah, maybe. But also, if you're having fun, Serby, why not? Why not? Why not? Music. Pause. Okay. Oh. So this is a slider that I can't slide? Why can't I slide it? Oh, that's so weird. Oh, what? Okay. Not that it matters. Not that it matters. We were modding people as a meme, so I thought I couldn't have Sass as a mod without making Mandy head mod, but I couldn't leave out Dan either. Literally never streamed, by the way. Fishy, I couldn't help but notice that you've left me out of that. That's fine, don't worry about it. It's cool. It's the two of them. It's the two of them together. It's Scotch's it's Sass's. It's the two. Oh, fucking hell. Scotchy, thank you for the raid. Hello, welcome in. Sama, thank you for the follow. Sorry, it still got me. Oh, hello. Hello, Scotchy. Hello, Sass. Hello, Widow. Grimbo, how you going? Ark, how you doing? Welcome in. Frothing. Welcome. Nikki. Azza. Gal. Curry. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sass, this is a Minecraft Christian server. Please no swearing. Mandy, hello. Welcome in. Pal, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hey, Blue, welcome in. How you going? Oh, man. Every time. It's always the two, because Scotch will message and then Sass messages, messages, and then it's like one after the other. You giggly bitch. Oh, what can I say? Scotch? You make me giggle a little bit. Oi, how long is Ultimate Drummer? Oh, Scotch, no. You don't want to do that one. We have Tibby's favorite men in the same room again.
This has just been such a pleasure. I'm such a lucky boy. I can't wait to go home.
Hey, Candace, welcome in. He does love a good giggle. I do, Zuno. Haven't seen you in forever. No, it's been too long, Curry. It's been too long. Maybe we should do another catch-up soon. Dan, did you end up finishing Ultimate Drummer, by the way? It's not a time, mate. No, yeah, he hasn't finished it. Yeah. She loves you. It's my mum and now my dog. Sass, when am I meeting your mum? And then we can, maybe next time? And then Scotch and I can, no, sooner, no, not like that, no. Oh. God damn it. Whatever. Marty just giggling and kicking his feet for Scotchy. Ah, no. Alright. Okay. Alright. I hear Zuna giggling and kicking her little feeties. Jesus. Didn't mean it like that, everyone. Holy fuck. Need a shovel for the hole you're digging? No, I feel like I can dig holes pretty well. Marty, I'm about to unmod you. This is concerning behavior. Oh, fishy fuck, did you mod me? Thanks. Walked into that one. Hey, Sass, I did. I would say sorry, but I'm going to steal your dogs. Dig up, stupid. Dig up? I don't know what's happening, and I failed to answer the question. She'd go with you too, fuck's sake. She would. She would. Without a doubt. I'll find that little bit of bark as well, and she'll just... Anyway. Yeah, so I was going to play Silent Hill 2, and then Scotch, the lovely, lovely gentleman, gifted me this. So, Tibby yearns for the chaos. Oh, she does too. The bark playing was too cute. Oh my god, love her. It was very cute. It was very cute. Don't thank me just yet. Yeah, no, I was like, oh yeah, no, it's gonna be a short stream, because I'm also EP. Not as EP as you, or, by the way. Oh, got an achievement. Why? Why did I get an achievement? Oh my god. Oh my god, what? Wait, why is it Okay, so it's a slider here, but it wasn't a slider on the computer. Okay. Hey Lily, how you doing? Welcome in. Oh no, that's too low. That's too low. Okay. I didn't leave the house today and had 2 naps. I too am EP. It's just the day for it. It's just the day. It's an EP day. Okay, so this is... Okay. Does look very nice. So I guess the first thing would be the vision that you had at the start is not your vision, because that doesn't line up with what we see here. Marty, did you play the demo? No, I didn't. I did see Sass and Scotch play it though, so I had issues. My first issue was putting the thing that you need here to kind of move forward, right? But oh, okay. Queensland public holiday has been nice though. Forgot to go to the shops. Yeah, we didn't go to the shops. Okay, so I know I need to shoot that. Need to shoot both of them? Oh no, those would open that. So I'm assuming. Okay.
The carousel's alive. The carousel's alive.
Did he say the carousels are alive or carousels a lie? I feel like you shouldn't be able to do that a second time.
The carousel's alive. The carousel's alive.
That's a lot. Did I miss any chat? No, I believe it's of the end. Of the end? Weird, button 2 didn't do that for the other 2. Ah. Yeah, okay. Carousel's a lie. Yeah, okay. which, I mean, sounds accurate. Yeah. Yeah. I don't... So I think the issue is I'm kind of going in this with some grumpy feelings already because of what I've seen.
Welcome to a world of imagination. A world of hopes and dreams. A place your child will always remember. They will build, they will climb, they will never stop. Their hopes too high to ever drop.
Wait.
Because here at Upward, the only way is up.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. I believe it's of the end. RA vision at the start. Button was the fart bleep. Oh, okay. Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of assumed it would be either of the end or someone else's. But I guess my first thought would be, who are you and why are you here? And I didn't even think of that really. There was just other stuff. But I know Scotch mentioned it at the end. And not that there needs to be any... What? I have not fed him, no. Oh, thank you, I love you. And not that you need to be told, but at least know who you are. To quote Patrick Starr, who are you people? Blue said hi. Yeah, okay. And then I guess the next thing that, and this was what I had issues with the demo was that I know you need to go into there, but that's not bright enough in my head or something to kind of like aim your vision down, right? Because you come out here and you see this, but you're looking at that screen, you're looking at that, you're looking at that. So there's a good chance, and I know both Scotch and Sass did this in the full game, is kind of go around to these mini games, and I believe they did it in the demo as well. They did everything, and then the last was to go on this. And ideally, if that's what you want people to look at, this should be really the brightest thing to really draw your attention. So I would have probably like made that dull, made this one specifically colorful, maybe break these other ones to be like, there's something special about this one. And then also kind of like really make this path more inviting. So I guess like at the moment, like it doesn't look, when you look at it like a still image, you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense in a way. You follow that to that. But this middle bit is more bright than this. Like this one especially. So anyway, that was my first gripe with it. Is this a game critique channel too? This is a request from Scotch being like, basically saying to come at it from a game dev side. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, FP. A little bit of context to how would help. Having that intro cutscene, 1 or 2 seconds of them falling down a shaft or something like that could help. Exactly. And if it was a vision, maybe make it more visiony or something, and then have you, when that stops, you walking through the door with it breaking behind you in a way. But instead, I'm not actually sure if this door was open because there's something blocking it on this side and then there's that there. So I'm not actually sure how you got through this door, really, unless it's turns the other way. That might be a thing, but then I don't know. Also, yeah, fence. Yeah. Also, am I an adult or a child? Because you would assume this would be, slightly higher than a regular door height, right? But like these, am I a child? Is that what I am? Because like, the turnstile is massive compared to me. And the force that you would physically have to push this would be too much for someone at this height. I mean, both Sith, both, like, it's too... it's... I think I'm a child. Why would a child be coming in here? Okay. Also, you could just squeeze under it. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so that's obviously that room that we need to... Yeah, the library that we need to go into. That's a room that we need to go into. Why would an adult be bringing their plush toy? I don't know. Well, seeing it seems to be the only way to get into the next area. I don't know. I don't know. It's I guess this is the issue with mascot horror, is that even in Poppy Playtime, it doesn't really make sense for just the casual person or employee to be putting the hands in a lot of those places. So I guess this is the thing to pull your attention to the this carousel, right? But then this door isn't big enough. This door draws my attention more. I think this should have been the door to go to with the 3 dots here, and this door here would open up to this, and then there would be 1, 2 doors locked, and then you'd have a door here leading into this section here. Because at the moment, like, this doesn't really make sense, right? Into, like, as a real place. And I guess this is the other thing as well, as I'm coming from it as, like, these things need to make sense in terms of the real world for them to be realistic. And I guess, like, thinking of it as a, you know, a parkland owner or whatever, why would you need to do these 3 specific things as a general consumer? It's like going to Legoland and having to do 3 really obscure things to not open the main gate, but to open up a side door. And it's not... I guess some other games can get away with it by it being the electrical boxes or whatever. And it's like opens up a side door, which would be fine. But you're not doing that. You're doing a very basic game of shooting these boxes down, and you'd assume that there would be a worker here, right, that would stack these back up for the next person. But then what? It doesn't really make sense. And like, is it a session based thing? Like, I don't, you know, is it like every hour a group comes through? How big are the groups? So I feel like there's some world building kind of missing from here to make it realistic in a way. And I know there's not very realistic things like, you know, the dog and the big baby. But in terms of realism, because even in Poppy Playtime, that had all of those, like, you know, you had the tapes, you had the world building, you had posters and stuff. So far, I think it's a lot of stuff that you don't actually notice as well, right? Because you're like, oh, the cute thing. And I think that's the big thing, right? Once you pick up the cute little plush toy, your mind instantly kind of goes away and you stop thinking about all of this stuff, but it's these little bits that you'd be like, okay, this is an actual real place. People do actually come here to do things. Okay. And like, this is why would you have to do this to open up a door?
Woohoo! Congratulations!
It
Grab your favorite toy and let the tour begin. Have fun, kids.
It doesn't. Okay. Okay. Let's see what's over here. Yeah. Can't see anything over there. So what is the one? Okay, so there is a boarded up gate here that takes you to the diner. All right. Got a purple dragon inflatable. Okay. So it is, like, it does look good. I think no one can deny that it doesn't look good or it sounds good, because there's, like, a lot of the sound so far from what I've seen and watched and, you know, experiencing here is good. This sounds good. The walking on the bushes sounds pretty good. It's very easy stuff to kind of overlook. You know, this looks good. But if this is I didn't see any signage outside of this door as well, so I don't actually know where I'm going. I don't know what this path is for, except for the big library room over there, which was a separate door. So I don't actually know technically where this door goes until I get to here. And obviously, I know here. Okay, I got an achievement. Low-key generally vibing with Serious Smarty. Huh? Okay, so I like that. That falls down because here you couldn't get in here. You're kind of like, oh, where do I go? Opens up the path, so you're kind of forced to experience that. I do wish when I came in here though. Also, hey Sada, how we doing? Oh, this streamer looks kind of cute. I'll hang around and see if they're fun. Or until I get a nip slip. Yeah, maybe. I think here, because I looked at the door first, and it's probably because I was trying to point out that this is library. I really wish that maybe it wasn't, maybe this light was off, that it wasn't so bright here and a bit darker, so I'm looking up at the lightish area. This is a thing that, you know, you see in horror games and a bunch of not documentaries, devlogs, especially I know in Left 4 Dead 2, when they did the commentary notes, they were saying that through the players, obviously, players will tend to look or try and go towards the light. So I would try and utilize that here. You know, there's no reason to see this. You're already getting enough light from the moon here for here. That would be the point there. So I would have made all of this a bit brighter. And then I probably would have, when the dog came through, broke this, damaged the light turns off, and then maybe, you know, the emergency lights on the vent, or maybe a light from somewhere else points onto this to be like the way to go. Obviously, you don't want to handhold players too much, because then you're like trying to make them look dumb or sound dumb or whatever. So I'm okay. Then this makes me think I'm not a child. Because this is, you know, height for an adult. Holy shit, Zuna. I missed that. Congrats on more responsibility. Well, oh my god, so you two are getting more serious. Lead mod because only one mod. Wild. But has he made you editor? No. No, she's not editor. Hey Medusa, how you doing? Welcome in. Lights and lighting help so much in games. Yeah, 100%. Also, yeah, and like again, this is all nitpicky, but I don't see any lights pointing towards this. Technically, this is a OHS violation. Seems pretty dark. I don't know. What's the point of this this balcony? Very big nitpick, but it's just like, if there's no reason for it, why put it here? Is it to show that people do come here to look out over this? Well, there needs to be something. I don't know. When you have a mod as good as Zuna, you don't need a second. 100% Sada. I'm a fan of Dark Souls 1, and this makes me appreciate the level design there so much more with you explaining the ways to guide people without guiding, because Dark Souls 1 does that so well. Yeah, and most of it is the best game design is the ones that you don't really see. So, and I'm gonna reference it a lot because it's my favorite game, but also I watched a lot of the commentary nodes on it. But Half-Life 2, masters of the invisible tutorial, teaching you where to go and how to do things, without actually, you know. Okay, hello. Without you knowing that you're learning or that you're doing something that you'll need to in future. Why are you standing on your back legs, my guy? Hello. How you doing? Did you have enough for Mum? There you go. Do you mind? Hello. Hello. Can I put you... Can I put you down? Okay. Come on. He doesn't want me to put him down. Oh, there we go. He's very cute. He's been a good boy today. No. You've made me look at the ground. Everyone's making fun of you, Chip. Everyone's saying how silly you look. Hello, baby. Hello. Tibby's cuter just saying, is it just because you're not allergic to Tibby? Okay. Down you get. Mum put food out for you. Go eat. No, go eat. Go eat. Stop. I love you, but stop. You're being too much. You're being too much now. Calm down. Okay. All right. Big claps. Marty loves good train game, even if I'm the better train driver. Okay. I need the other hand so I can get through. Don't brush your head on the microphone. You okay? Oh. There you go. Okay, hang on. I'm missing out on chat because you're limiting my ability to do anything. Thank you, Lily. I will hydrate as soon as my hands are free. Your whiskers are in my mouth. Hello. Hello, Bippy. I love Chip. I will sacrifice my life for Chip. Grip. Chip is so pleased with himself. He is. Okay. Can I put you down? Okay. Come on. No. He just brushed his head on the monitor and there went my camera. Okay. I love you, but just sit down. You're being very needy right now. Being very needy. Oh, you're back for more. Hello. Oh my god. Tell Chip we said pss, 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 pss. Okay, he's just staring at me. Sorry, I can't. Oh. Marty nobbing on Chip's whiskers like that lady from from that lady in the tramp scene. It's great when cats do stuff like that. So freaking cute. You're not done till Chip says you're done. Yeah. Can I put you down now? Okay, the microphone. Okay. Oh, okay. Jeez. Thank you, Scotchy. Thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to SassFX. Welcome in, SassFX, by the way. Not sure if I said that. Glad to have you here. Hope you're doing well today. Jesus. You didn't need to do that, Scotchy, at all. But congratulations, Sass. You can now access, you've got access now to a couple of some great emotes, or emojis, as the old people say. A couple of them are, you know, from a top quality streamer, Danger Dan, Dud Danger Dan, and yeah, yourself actually. So how exciting! How exciting! Okay, back to pulling apart this game. Okay, I wasn't. Was that me? Was that me shooting? Did I shoot that? No, I didn't. That's a different yellow. Okay, I do like this. Sada, thank you for resubscribing. My God, you are nuts. Thank you, Mandy. Appreciate it. Sass now has Sass emotes. I know. Who would have thought it, Criffy? But no, thank you. You don't need to do that at all. One bit. Yeah, I really like that mechanic, shooting. Oh, I really wish it would tell you, though, when you do lose it. Like a little pop sound would be cool. Sub so Chip can eat. Zuna, no, Chip can eat. He's been... God, Sass. Have I hydrated? Oh my God. I did forget, actually. I did forget. Thank you. Sorry, Chip. You ain't following. Ha ha ha. Oh, how the turntables have turned. Well, actually, the turntables have gone up. Thank you, Crifford. Thank you for making me sound like I farted. That wasn't me, by the way. That wasn't me. I don't do that. I'm a good little Christian boy. No farties from me. Not farty. Oh, fuck, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, why is there cursed? Again, what's the point of this balcony? I can't jump down. Like, why not have a what's the point? Why not like a bench? Just some world building stuff, right? So you could have had a table, one of these tables over here with books on it. You could have had something, chairs. You know, you just make them so you can't jump on them and then jump over the bat. Yeah, like that. They've blocked that off too. God damn it. Had that coming. My kanks. It sounds like there's a running tap in the background of the fart. Maybe there is. The Christian god was originally a god of air, so if anything, Christians should fart more. Oh, he's triggered already. I had to make food, so I didn't know. That was fast. Farting for Jesus. He went into it criticizing. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, well, because, I've seen all of this part, minus how to actually do down here. I know that it's a puzzle down there. But I've seen kind of up to here a couple times. So I've kind of been criticizing it up until... I'll probably criticize it up until we get to a part that I haven't seen. And that'll be me trying to figure it out, and then I'll probably pull it apart. He's been mentally holding this in. I think I have. Ah, wrong way. Go. Stop. God, fucking So why is everyone painting the same painting? Why is everyone painting the same painting? So the pages are just kind of... Okay. Get psst, fucker. Thank you, Scotch. Fuck, thank you, Fish, for that, by the way. Disgusting. And soon, he will have to release it like a big mental flatulence outbreak. Yeah, well... Chip's just fucking circling my ankles thanks to you, Sass. God damn it. Thought so far? You're loving it, aren't you? Yeah, I've got no reason to do anything, really. This should have been more inviting. Also, why should I have to take this slide? Why is there only one slide? Also, how do you get back up? Actually, how do you get back up? If this is the library, the way into the library from a consumer standpoint is from that door there. How do you get to the second floor? Because we got through it a hole and by climbing onto a vent. There's no... Wait, stop biting my fucking foot. Go away. Chip is just doing what we all would. Scotch, would you nibble at my nibble at my legs? Fuck off. Go away. Nummy. Num num. Yum yum yum. Sooner, is there a way to make him bite Marty more? No. Go away. No. There's no way. More would involve Marty bleeding. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Alright. He's in the office now. So yeah, I guess from a game point, I wouldn't have had the entrance here. I would have probably had it. And I know it fits in with the puzzle down there, but I probably would have had it somewhere where you see it and when you come in. So you kind of like over here and a bunch of bright lights to be like, that's where I need to head to. But at the moment, when you come in, I think there's like a psychology aspect of when you go into rooms. And I think people tend to go to the left more than the right. I know I went to the left, but there is kind of that kind of aspect too. So I would have probably making this kind of game, I would have had that in mind to be like, you know, go left, check this out, and then come back. Because it looks like it's crammed in the corner. I would have probably put it over there or somewhere and then made it brighter. Had maybe the no, we can't see it anymore, but the sign with the bulbs around it to be like enter. But, you know, I slide down. So this is cool. I like this. It's very dark. Again, OH&S, you're sliding straight into a bookcase. No cushions. I would have probably put a bunch of cushions down here to make it a bit more realistic. And wake up. So a bunch of the same books. But like I would have had it where, you know, something. Bookcase to break your fall. Yeah. Yep. What's a concussion when you're learning in a fun library? That is true, actually. But it looks like the library is a big puzzle. So even as a general consumer, oh, see, so when I saw it on Sasses and Scotch's stream, I thought that the floor also span. Why am I going with the bookcase? Okay. Fuck, I knew it as soon as I said it. Why am I going with the bookcase? The floor doesn't even move. Imagine if the dev was here right now and then was like, oh, let me see who can do better. And then Marty just casually drops the night shift on this motherfucker. Yeah, but I don't think the night shift isn't... Like, I had a lot of learnings from the night shift, and especially after with all the feedback. If I went back and did the night shift again, there'd be a lot of things that I would have done different. Okay. But I would have done a lot of things different, and I've learned a lot, and everything that I'm kind of saying now would be what I would take into something moving forward. So I'd be kind of hesitant to be like, there's the night shift. Satch pig effects. Oh, we're still talking about that. I believe in you. We're going to try and keep it stream centric though. Oh yeah. Such as is that when me and Sass form our Megazord. Satches. Sass and Scotch, Mega Fusion, Sashes. Oh true. Hasn't streamed much yet. They did the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z. Fuck. Yep, we need that. We need that Sass and Scotch. We need you guys doing that. So blue's on that side. So this would take me... So as like a first time player, this is rather scary, right? You're kind of like, oh fuck, there's a big dog chasing me. It's gonna be scary. Okay. So, okay, I'm assuming we'll find out more about that after. Oh. Wait. Oh, hang on. This one? Ah, yep. Okay. So he just wants to... He looks angry. But I know he's not an enemy. So why is he portrayed as Oh. It's 'cause it's... God damn, fish? Was that you, fish? Imp. God damn it. God damn it. Marty, if you and I did the fusion dance, what would happen, do you think? I think we would just become a big ball of hair, honestly, Dan. Marty fully had a spore. I'm gaining sentience moment. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. So I still... I'm confused just as, like, as a... because the door is over there, so even as a...
Each time when I come here, I am abused.
Fish, you're not, though. You're not. That's a lie. That's a lie. Yeah, so as a consumer, when you come through here, like this doesn't really make much sense in terms of that. Okay, where does this go? No? Oh, is it that over there? I'm catching... Yeah, it's because you did it once. It's because you did it once. Okay. So again, does does everyone have to do this? Does that always spit out, or does this need to be reset? Who's doing this? I'm so confused. You don't deserve this fish. Oh, no. Hold up. I was wanting something sweet and had nothing, so I just ate 3 creatine gummies? Will I die now? I feel like my skin is buzzing. Ooh. Why can't I shoot through this? There's no reason from a gameplay point of view why I can't shoot through. If anything, that kind of reward... Oh, I've got to... Okay. If anything, it kind of rewards being like, I figured it out before I actually got there. Okay. But like... Also, you can't do the charge outside, so it's only on specific things. Interesting. Zuna, did you get your pastries? No, no, she hasn't yet. She hasn't yet at all. So what, it's a secret door?
Please be seated. The movie will start soon.
Okay. Okay. Is this the one where...
Welcome to Upward, where
Oh, no.
the only way is up. We offer a new hope for children who want to live a better life. Upward's a place where they become the best versions of themselves. It's a place of hopes and dreams. A place your child will always remember.
Hello, Chip. Hello. Hello. Oh. I'm standing, by the way, so he's just made his way up. Why are you being so cute? So like, I get it's a kids asylum, but why are we here? Yeah, no, exactly, Scotch. This is what I was saying at the start, was that... Chip, come on. Off. Was that you clearly have to buy admission or something into this area, into this place, but then you've got these weird games to play to get into these areas. Does everyone have to do that? Things just don't make sense. And you've got popcorn soda. So popcorn and soda. So clearly, or is it popcorn flavored? No, soda flavored popcorn. So like, no, chip. So I guess we're just gonna watch popcorn pop for a second. Hey Em, how you doing? Welcome in. Chip's single-handedly propping up my mental right now. And he's being cute. He won't stop. Why won't he stop? Please stop. I'm worried that he's going to eat my nose too. Oh, he just wants all the love. I'd take him, but he would just leave me. Yeah, 100%. I don't know why he's got this thing for me right now. Okay, hang on. There we go. Well, I thought I was good. I was not. Beautiful. Perfect. Anyway. So if this is a asylum, and there's not meant to be like a way out or anything, why is the exit turnstile there? And then why is there popcorn and soda? No, this is very like attraction based, right? And then if this front area is meant to be attraction based, God, that's actually getting annoying. Sorry about that. I'll move. So if it is attraction based to get into any of the areas, why is it, A, why is it so difficult? And B, why is it not? I'm gonna put you down. You look like you're gonna kill me. Your front area is attraction based. God damn it. Hey Jesse, how you doing? Welcome in. Hope you're going well. We're just kind of pulling this apart a little bit from what I've already seen. So also, this is a lot of popcorn soda, by the way. I feel like this is, they were like, we really need something here because it just looks empty. Let's just put this. It's, yeah. So that first video is meant to be what? Like the consumer-friendly version of it? And then you obviously change it out to... See, like this. I knew exactly what that was because it's lit up. Also, that's not the thing that I need. We've got the outline, but there's just no... Okay. So there's a second one.
Hi there, colleagues! Today's training covers how to monitor and correct subjects during re-education. A crucial lesson. Now, first things first, it's of utmost importance that children are properly seated and restrained. The last thing we want is those pesky little stinkers wriggling free mid-session and having to send Binky after them. But before we can engage the restraints, we need to make sure we place the right reels in the right projector slots. So grab today's assigned indoctrination reel and pop it right into the top slot. Next, always make sure there's an empty reel at the bottom slot. Film needs to go somewhere, doesn't it? With that sorted, engage the restraint lever and press play. Simple as that. From here, your only job is to observe and keep those eyes open for any patients showing signs of, non-compliance. And if you spot any unwanted behavior, notify a supervisor immediately. We don't judge here. We just correct. Happy brainwashing, everybody!
Okay, cool. Holy shit, what have I missed out on? Nanite Arc. Everyone say Nanite Arc. Nanite, sleep tight. I missed something. Someone came in. Very cool. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Alright, cool. Okay. So one thing that I really like, and something that I kind of want to start doing as well, is really mixing in live action with live action things, shots, whatever, with in-game. I think those are really cool. Those are really cool. Okay, what did I miss, actually? Do I have to... Do I care enough? Should I care enough? Probably not. Probably not. Nothing more, just another fuckwit. Ah. Classic. I booped him. God, and this is why you're my lead mod, Zuna. I wonder if the game category is bringing in the targeted fan base. Oh, maybe, actually. Probably. Marty, can I just say that I'm really excited to see what you make next? Oh, thanks, Mandy. Yeah, look, I'm in a bit of a brain pickle at the moment. But yeah, what I've got planned should be good, I hope. Okay, looking for an empty reel, apparently. Intro. Wait, am I stupid? Where's... Because I can't get through this door, can I? No. No? It'll be a poop later tonight. Oh, maybe. Emphiusis. I definitely need to do some voice acting for your next game. Can I be a toaster? Maybe. Maybe. I'll buy it even though I get squared. Yeah. Yep. I always appreciate everyone's support. Oh, obviously. And I want it to be more, I guess, more accessible than the night shift in terms of A, fun, but also B, not as monotonous and boring, because I know I had that criticism as well, but it was just I was too far deep with the game, and it was kind of like, yeah, that was the shtick. But yeah, I think the next one, I'm hoping, not that I'm a great storyteller, but I'm hoping that this next one, it's basically what I'm trying to like improve on. So hopefully the story in the next one is a bit better and a bit more grabbing. I don't have a flex emote, but imagine it. Marty saying the word farts. Oh, crazy. It was a solo dev. Don't be too hard on yourself. No. It's obviously, I don't want the reason for it being solo dev or my first game to be an excuse for me to be like, yes, it's the best I could do. Because, there's always better. And sorry, have I missed it? I'm looking for an empty one, right? Why is this? Why did it? Why? What? Why is that there? Is that saying that it's all the way out here? No, but I don't want it to be like an excuse. And I know obviously it's the first game in solo dev, and like those are great accomplishments, but I can do better. So I'm hoping that the next one is better. And yeah, there's a lot of criticism and feedback that I got from the night shift that I want to work on and improve for this next one. So yeah, I'm not trying to be too hard on myself, just realistic and I guess take all of that into account as well. Because at the end of the day, like, the game isn't for me, and it's for the people that do buy it and do play it and all of that. And I kind of want to make it so those same people can see the improvement as I continue, but also bring in new people rather than, I think how I did the night shift. At the start, it was there was a lot of issues, and I think that did more harm than good. And then I fixed it as quick as I could, but it was just too late. So, so it's yeah. Anyway, this next one should be good. And like as I'm going through this, it's really just not me being like I'm the best dev and I know exactly what it is, but it's just like things that I've, at least from a horror point of view, that I've seen and feedback and researched for my own stuff, and even for my professional job, game design stuff, going into this kind of being like, doesn't really make sense. The world building factor so far is pretty good, but there could be more to really immerse your players into it as well. Sorry, I've been chatting. I haven't been reading chat. Oh no, my mind messed up suddenly. Thought that if you stand to watch the video, you play and the plushies turn to look at you as the thing continues, then they suddenly launch at you. I think, yeah, I think they made the right decision with nothing nothing happening during that, so your pure focus is on the screen. However, I don't actually know if I forget now if all the lights turn on afterwards. Having it in complete darkness and that being the focus is good, and I believe the next one also does that. Where would film reels be after watching the first movie? So I put the new one in, but I'm looking for an empty reel. And I don't know where the empty reel is. I've checked this one, and I've checked this one. So it's not in this room anymore. Recognizing how you can improve doesn't diminish the efforts of what you've done. No, I'm not trying to diminish those efforts at all. It's more so, yeah, just recognizing that, there's just a lot of room for improvement, and I know that, and trying to just do that as well. So, seriously though, if I can do any sound effects or whatever for your games, just let me know. Just out of curiosity and no pressure to use any crap I make. Oh, thank you for the offer as well, Sada. I really appreciate that, and yeah, I probably might reach out and hit you up as well and see what. Thank you, Sith. Marty, you also have a group of people that will not only support you but also give you honest and positive feedback. No, 100%, Dan, and I think I had that a little bit at the start of the night shift, or like when I brought it over to Unreal Engine and was starting to work on it by myself. I did have a handful, but now that, like, yeah, the support group has grown massively since obviously meeting you, all of you. Yeah. Yeah, you're all amazing, and I wish I had you from the start. So... oh, the empty one is usually on top. Did you bug it out? Oh, really? Oh, oh, I know, well, maybe. I took a... Oh. Oh. Actually, if I quit and I continue, it should hypothetically take me back, right? Okay, cool. Okay, do I have to watch the movie again? Is the other
Please
thing.
be seated. The movie
Yes.
will start
I can't
soon.
do that. Okay. Okay, so they didn't...
Welcome to Upward,
Having the lights
where
turn off and
the
having
only
that the
way
focus would have
is
made
up.
it more, I
We
guess, like
offer a new hope for
atmospheric as
children
well,
who want
and
to
more
live
like a
better
cinema.
life. Upward's a
And the
place
door
where
should,
they become the
I think,
best
close.
versions of themselves. It's a place
Maybe?
of hopes and dreams.
I don't know. Doors are a
place
tricky
your
one.
child will
In game
always
design,
remember.
there's a... doors are probably one of the hardest things... not hard, one of the hardest things, but like there's a massive design decision around doors because of different ways you can interact with the door. So me kind of pointing that out and being like, oh, that door should close. Should it? Should it close? I don't know. I don't think... Yeah. Okay, so I grabbed that and I chucked it. And then I took this and then I also chucked it, but that should go on the bottom one. Okay. Yes, it did bug out. There we go. We back. We back and we ballin'. Do I have to pick this up again, though? Yep. So I don't actually know what this is or why I'm picking it up. But that's cool. That is cool. Staff manual, prepare correct film, lubricate constraints, monitor for signs of excess stress. Add sedative to cookies. Oh, no, I didn't. Fuck. I didn't mean to, Okay. Okay. So I did that. Oh, I've got to shoot the, Right? Full reel, empty reel. Button, of course.
Please be seated. The movie will start soon.
Okay. That was a little bit disorientating, especially that I've had no bright things before. Does that mean I can still... Okay, so I can still use that. Okay. No idea what they are. Happens to all men. Okay, so I guess my next thing would be, are you hallucinating all of the thing, like when it's all perfect? Are you hallucinating? And then if that is a thing, why?
Welcome to your new purpose. Upward is not a choice. It's a solution. You are not broken. You are incomplete. Compliance is comfort. Resistance is inefficient. Every action will be observed. Every thought will be analyzed.
I would like to say this is a bug,
will be
being able to
corrected.
shoot at the same time.
You will learn to play our way. You will learn to love.
It really takes away.
You will perform.
Alright, let's cover the whole screen.
Submit. Conform. Consume.
Alright, cool. Hey, Zach, welcome in. How you doing? I think the gist of the problems with this game so far is generally why there's literally no motivation for any of it, other than, well, maybe we'll go through the game. Yeah, 100%. I don't know why I had to do those ones, like watch the movie. Oh my god, I can't think. I can't think. Why? Okay. Yeah, so I don't actually know why I'm doing a lot of stuff. Hey, Heartless, how you doing? Welcome in. How you going? Nice to have you here. Hope you're going well. Hope you're going well. Oh my god, I love Poppy Playtime. This is a joke. Yeah, yep, yep. Yeah. Yeah, so, this was gifted by Scotchy to kind of pull it apart as a game dev. And yeah, I'm kind of doing that. I think I kind of went into it as well with, yeah, with some feelings already, just having watched it. But pretty much after, I think, this section here, I am blind to the game, so I've got no idea. Hey, Taters, how you doing? Welcome in. Time to lurk, stream while I go shower. Go, King. Go shower. So this goes to the library. But now I'm... Wait, the scale of things don't add up. Even to that, I don't think they add up. I don't think any of the scale here adds up. I really feel there was a... Yeah, this is different too. Also, this doesn't... That doesn't make sense. Oh, I can see through some of the world there. Okay, so this is... So all they did here was move this wall over to the left. Because these three, the middle one should be in the middle, right? Anyway. Yeah, anyway, okay. Okay. No one needs scale. No, no one does. Me making a house in The Sims. This wall is perfect, and I'll just move it over, and we won't worry about anything ever. So I feel like this room really needs an art treatment. So far, every room has been pretty good. So far, every room has been pretty good in terms of not game design, but more so as an artistic scale. And it looks nice. This is the first room that we've really seen that is a bit not good. And I think there's just a few things from an art side that, like, for instance, this hole there, this balcony going into the window here. Yeah, that's so annoying. And then just the scale looks off of things. I don't know. Anyway. Done. Da-da-da-da-da. Max Horn. Fuck, these are large radiators. This makes me think I'm a kid. And the fact that the windowsill is so high. Even up there. But then the door makes me feel like I'm... Oh my god, that was... Hey Jessica, how you doing? Welcome in. Wait, I'm gonna clip that and make it the new one. Oh no. Max Horn. So I think that arrow there is for afterwards, right? When you're getting chased. However... Yeah, I know. Anyway, yeah, okay. Again, I'm no... Why would you think to ever jump over this? Okay. What the fuck is that? Okay. Okay. So that I was going to mention it before, but that tape really should kind of like burn out, right? After kind of playing a couple times and kind of being stuck, it should hypothetically burn out or just stop, because it's not digital and it's going from the top reel to the bottom, and then as it's going, it goes to, you know, as it gets more to the center, it should just end. Unless there is so much of the tape that is basically just like this. So it's the guy kind of saying perform, and like this is real, more of a realistic, I guess. It wouldn't keep on repeating because the tape would finish. Unless the tape is getting to a point and then rewinding and then going again. I don't think it's doing that either. Anyway, that's annoying. Okay, so green circle. Red. Yellow square. Like, this is a cool puzzle, but why? Why? Why are these in the exact same... He's cute, though. He is cute. I think the art of the... And that being able to pet it as well is a good choice. Because obviously, you get these moments, and as a player, you're kind of like, oh my god, so cute. And just having those emotions and the feelings. Pretty good. Pretty good. Fuck, I love hearing you rationalize this stuff. Andy. I love it when analog audio has digital artifacting. Yeah, I think if you're gonna do stuff, at least research that thing, because like I don't know a lot about analog. Oh, and of course it's stopped now because you... Hold up. Why did it keep on playing? I think as a developer, they were like, oh, if we have it playing and you see it, you'll be like, oh, we'll do those. But it's the only things that are lit up in this room. There's no way you could miss that with even if the audio wasn't there. So it's really there just to annoy the player. I don't know. That was... Thinking about it now, that's kind of a bit of an odd choice. But as I said, I don't know much about the analog audio. I just know that when you get to the middle of a tape, it should stop. It doesn't just keep on repeating because the it's ended. I don't know. Why seems to be a very common denominator. Yeah, I think there's a lot in this that are like, why, you know, I've said it a bunch of times. Why am I doing this? What's the reason for this? Why am I here? Why am I going down here? Why am I doing this puzzle? Don't know. Was that video making the puppy crazy? Maybe, but then it sounds like they send the puppy out to go after kids that break out of the chains, or they send someone out to get the kids. I don't know. Problem is, Marty, that you will always get something inaccurate. What counts as a basic mistake changes depending on the knowledge of the audience. No, exactly. And going into my professional job and what we're doing there, we have to account for the people that don't know anything about this topic, but then we also have to go and we have to get everything right for the people that know everything about the topic, just in case they end up playing, because then you get to a point where, you know, they would see, for example, they'd see that tape and be like, I put the wheels in. Why is it still going? You get a OH&S employee playing this game and you'd be like, why is there no visible way to get to the second level when you're in the library from the first level? Why are there dark spots that have no light above it? You know, why are balconies, you know, really high in one place, really short in another? But again, it's the whole why. Like, the dark spots is where you store the dark souls. Ooh, it's so true though. There will always be an expert in every aspect. 100%. You don't know who's playing your games. As a developer, it could be, why do I have to jump over? Oh, hold up. Oh, why do I have to jump over that again? Why do I have to jump over that again? He burst through here, and then all of this was a mess. I smell inconsistency. Also, I'm not a big fan of invisible walls. And I find in a lot of these games as well, like the mascot horror ones, not that I've played a lot, maybe just horror games, is invisible walls. And it's really hard to kind of get immersed into a game when there is so many invisible walls. And there's definitely ways around stopping a player from getting to an area. Like, you could have brought these broken bars here. So you could still jump on one. You could still have the invisible wall there. But now, there's a reason why you can't go, and it's because of these bars. But having it so here, I don't know. I feel like I can jump onto here. Why can't I jump onto those? Oh, hang on. Okay. Be right back. Dog's borking at me. Dog's borking. Call Cursor to come and slay those bars. Also, wait. Why can't I? Hold up. Why is there this massive... So actually here I can never actually touch the wall. Wait a second. Hold up. Something ain't right here. Oh, why is there collision? Oh. Okay, so here I am touching. I am touching the thing. I don't think I'm touching it here. Yeah, no, I'm well off. But here, I can't even get to the wall. And that's an easy thing. I reckon what they originally had was these toys, and they also had some here. But then they realized that maybe during playtesting or whatever, that these toys got in the way, or they did something. They stopped. Oh, you know what it is? I reckon it bugged out the dog. Something about this, whatever was there, bugged the dog out, and it couldn't chase after. Or it drew the attention, or players could climb on it to get out. But they didn't take away the collision. It's not nice. It's nice to not be an expert in many things. Let me enjoy games more. Fish, honestly, it's really hard. I still love playing games, but it's really hard to kind of I see it when I'm streaming, and it's really hard to switch off, but like, it's really hard to not. And again, like, I'm fairly new into the games industry. I've been in now for, oh my god, 5-ish years. It's almost hard to not kind of pull it apart, at least in my head. So 5 years says he knew. Oh, I'm new in terms of like, I work with people that have been in it for 20 to 40 to 50 years. So, hey Doomies, how you doing? Welcome in. Hope you're going well. It really does change how you play it. Yeah, it really does. And can you look into a game through an Unreal or Unity editor and see where they have done, why they have done certain things? No. So you can do that with open source games, but you can't. You can kind of do it, but it won't. It won't be 100% same. So you kind of be re-engineering the game somehow. So, for example, that's how people can go into the code. There's certain programs that you can use that can open up pack files of games. So the pack files come with the game, and there's programs that allow people to open up those pack files, and they can kind of see actual individual files. That's how certain people get models of games, such as Overwatch. Half-Life 2 and Source games are a big thing. And in terms of that. But yeah, so you can kind of go back, but you can't open it up and see how the level is put together unless there is, you get the raw files, I guess, for the editor, which most games never do. The only ones that would be the games that come with a proper SDK editor. So, like, again, Half-Life 2, when the editor for that, I believe, actually, you can check out every level, which is really cool. And just kind of see how people did things. Okay. Generally, the first time I've ever been like, wrong, was when you played Thomas the first time. And then the second was Sass playing Bruno twice in 30 years ain't bad. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Is this? These are all. Is there something in this one? See, what? And then again, the scaling's all off. Now I feel like an adult. This door is like my head is hitting the top. Also, wait. Is that a male's bathroom or is this a male's bathroom? Or just no, it's not. No. It is a It is just a all gender, I guess. Doesn't matter who. Okay. Interesting. I thought that was you, just Chippy. Is this game a FNAF ripoff? No, this game is, I think, Sass said it on her stream. Someone pointed out, but it's more of a parody of Poppy Playtime, but it makes fun of Poppy Playtime in a way where it doesn't specifically say the names, more of just more like you know, mascot horror kind of parody rather than Poppy, I guess. But so far, I think this has got more... Wait, hold up. Wait, where's my... Oh, there it is. So why did that door just close? I don't like that. What was I saying? So I guess more makes fun of... Can it not sound like it's... Okay. More makes... yeah. Fuck, I'm getting there. More makes fun of mascot games, but it seems very heavily inspired by Poppy Playtime. In a way, I think maybe FNAF Security Breach, in a way. Maybe. Although I do believe FNAF Security Breach is better than any of the Poppy Playtime games. It's an everyone for themselves bathroom. I think it is. It's a bit weird that it kind of forces the door closed behind you, though. I keep seeing Poppy Playtime on my Steam directory. I don't know. I have never played it. It is, you might have added it to your library, Doomies. It is free. At least the first chapter is. So you might have added it ages ago. I think it came out in 2017, 2018 maybe? Maybe 19. I don't know. It came out a few years ago. So you can add it to your library, but you might not have actually played it. Oh, okay. So does everyone have to do that? Like, this seems like a very one and done kind of thing, right? See, none of this really makes sense. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? That reminded me of the Crash Bandicoot mask music. Yeah, 100%. Why did I have to do any of that? And then, if this is an asylum kind of thing, like me, I don't know. Is this testing each kid? But then why am I a kid or am I an adult? I guess I don't know what the fuck I am. What am I? And then why? And then I guess how does the next person do it? Is there a next person? This seems very final. As in, no one after me will ever do this again. Right? But even on a day-to-day basis, let's say this is in a completely working order facility. The entrance is here. Wait, no, it's not. The entrance is over there. Because it's the bathroom. Yes. Then... why is this here? Who did that? Because you would come in as I guess, a child. You would come in here as a child, right? And... huh. Was the duck always? You'd come in as a child, you would shoot all of those, and then run along here. But then I guess what the the facilitator here or whoever would have to unpaint that, pull that up, refuel the pyrotechnics of this. I think I'm thinking too much into it. I'm confused. So this is where kids sleep. So I guess that's how they trap kids. But you would have already had the kids trapped because of the showers and the bathroom. Okay. I assume all of that will be chapter 2. Oh no. This music is nice though. Why has it actually got nice music in this section? Maybe and stay with me on this because you're silly. Thanks, Max. Am I a kid or am I an adult? Too true. Yeah, I don't know. There's days where I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. I don't know why I'm doing this. I feel like we're on a live stream of consciousness video essay, Dark Powers, the unsolved mysteries of why. Yeah, but does that mean I would have to say why? Okay, I think I meant to jump there, right? Or... oh no, I meant to get there? Jump there, there, there. Okay, I shouldn't have made that. Here? Okay. Here? Wait, so what's the point of being able to jump over... okay. Okie dokie. And then... this feels like a place where the staff members would go. So why does it pretty... well, I don't... why is it creepy up here? Maybe for atmospheric. But... I feel like this is... you've already trapped the kids. You'd want... right? Or you're trapping kids, so this should really be more industrial, or like, you know, you've got your I don't know, I don't even know, like the railing should look more boss, or like lighting shouldn't be like this, because you would probably want good visibility if you were overwatching these kids, making sure they don't escape or they're not little bitches about it all. You would want perfectly good vision, but you'd want them to know you're watching, maybe? I don't know. I got no idea. And then, okay. No, it'll end with a real poignant, like, about for no one knowing the why. Maybe we should appreciate the journey it took us on, and then some synthwave DRM free music. Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of... again, these doors are massive. The hand... so I meant to jump down. Well, what over here? Okay. Facility upward. Location, Warden Lake. Year of construction, 1980. Is this the path we're meant, like, it's taking us on? So that's the main atrium that we were in, with the circus-y, the carousel in the middle. Poijet. What do the dots mean? I don't know. This is the most lore we've had the whole time. It's all just one big loop. It's not even a loop. It doesn't end. It ends there. I didn't mean to do that. How do I take it off? I didn't mean to drop. Oh well. We had a good look at that.
Come on, Binky! It's not that hard! Ugh. You know what you're here for. Just get them to open up and conform! Ugh.
See, I think, yeah, those are really well done. I really like the mixed use of in-world, in-game and IRL aspects. And that's probably one of my favorite things from... And again, am I a child? What's with this big chair? What's with this big table? Am I a child? What's the go? What is the go? Okay, it went. Okay, hand off mouse. So we started off in the atrium, hand back on mouse. Finger off of mouse button though. I think I'm real over the VHS clips on TVs in these games. Yeah, there's quite a lot. I know Poppy Playtime uses them, but that's more interview style, right? I like that one, the one that we just watched, because it was a mix of in-game IRL and like that person was interacting with the big baby with the fucking pacifier on the head or whatever. Yeah, I think if they used correctly or optional lore and you had enough story through, and this is the main criticism, I guess, for the night shift is I didn't have enough story, I guess. I mean, I guess I did, but like a lot of the story was through letters or recordings that you could optionally find. They didn't obviously bolster the main story. They offered optional lore. So I guess it's hard for me to, easy for me to say this, but it's almost like, I'm going to sit down now. I think it's been an hour, I assume. Yeah, good to sit. Sick. I think what was it? There was another game as well where all of the... Oh, that's right. It was Silent Hill F. Obviously, I didn't play that. And I just watched Sass and Scotch and a bunch of other people play it. But for the story, you had to... the first time around, you didn't understand it. You had to play New Game Plus, and that took another 14 hours. And then that dripped you story, and you had to kind of play it 2 or 3 times or something to understand. Here, if I didn't do that or the previous TVs, they're almost not optional. I mean, this one kind of is, but the first one wasn't, because you had to understand the order that you put the reels in. And the second one, maybe optional. I don't know. It's kind of like a hit and miss. So I guess because the first one wasn't really optional, it was more of a tutorial, then that makes you think that the rest are giving you helpful information. I don't know what the fuck this one get. Like, what does this one give? It's lore.
You know what you're here for. Just get them
Anyway.
to open up and
Anyway. Also, just a small thing, but I'll show it. The perspective is slightly off. So when she does the grip thing, it's on the other side, but the top bit here is behind her. So it's kind of really hard to get a good sense of perspective. I think you see it at this first bit. Yeah, you kind of see, yeah, it goes behind. Really? That should kind of go in front. Anyway, just a small thing. Just a small thing. And it's still really well done. Marty knows how to flog his binky. Oh boy, do I. Yeah. Okay.
Goodbye, kids. Sleep tight. Tomorrow there will be light.
So I think this really fucking cool. Question: why are the nipples so juicy? Great question. But I think this is really cool. Shit. My God. You okay? What's up? You've got really cold beans. Did you know that? You got really cold beans. Okay. Eat chip. Hmm? Okay. You're getting real comfy. I don't like that. Oh. You just hit me with your fucking ass. My God. Okay. So the animations and the art style of this dude, I could never. This is really well done. Really well done. Hey, I don't like this. Sorry, Heartless. So Why? Why is I got an achievement for Binky noticing me? Why is this a thing? I don't like that at all. Don't tell me you wouldn't. Oh, I got 2 achievements there. So I got the first one was get noticed by Binky. And then the second one was to just, yeah. I feel like achievements in this aren't rewarding enough. Like, obviously you get your achievements through progression, but you're not really... There's been no challenge. There's been no challenge. And I don't understand why. There's 27? I don't get that. Why? Why is there 27? Oh, I know that's one, because I saw, I think, Scotch, you got that one, didn't you, for popping all the balloons. The sound is really cool. I do like the sound, I like the art. There's obviously a lot of places where... So, Scotch, I know that we were like, it's not a horror, it's a kid's game, but there's things like that, right? Where it's a kid horror game. It's not a kid's game. It's not because that way it's still a horror game, but it's for kids. That would make sense. Because as I said, the trailers on the store page give off that horror vibe. But so far, you know, we kind of got scared by the dog, Chompy or whatever, Chomper. But then I'm not sure, like, is it for kids? Because that dude was definitely sucking himself off. And I'm not sure, like, how would you kind of describe that to a kid? Like, what, a 10-year-old kid is playing this game? They go, oh, Mum, Dad, what's that? What's that? What's this big guy doing? And the dad's got to be like, oh yeah, so he's real flexible. He's real flexible, son. You'll never get to that. You'll not. That's not you. I don't get scared or jump scared once in this, which is disappointing me. Yeah, I think like there's a lot of loud noises which I think people would probably jump to. But in terms of like none of it's scary, right? Kids often don't even think about it. Okay.
But today we make a very special cookie.
That's the sedative cookie.
I wrote a song so you can sing along and hope we don't get it wrong. Here we go!
Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. I have a cookie I baked last night. Just get all the ingredients right. I have some fruits and sweetness as well. Make it right and you won't swell. La 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 la. La 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 da da da. Like nobody can. Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. I have a cookie I baked last night. Just get all the ingredients right. I have some fruits and sweetness as
Wait, so is this song just...
right and you won't swell.
Okay. Okay. So is that song just going? Okay. No? I want the music to stop. It started off as a banger. It is no longer a banger. Oh my god. Roofied by your own cookie. I think so. We were like 10 playing GTA banging strippers. That is true. That is true. I think... Oh, bass. Okay. Oh my god. Can this stop? Bass, topping, color. Okay. And then what next? Do I go down here? Okay. Okay, Jesus. Oh my god. Can I be somewhere where there's not music for a second? No, not really. Oh, he's hitting that. Oh, no, it will loop forever. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I must admit, I've really been quite enjoying Windrose. Might be fun in co-op. Yeah, I've got to watch that video that you shared. And I want to give it a whirl. I want to watch that video and then see how I feel. But I've heard some good things. I wish there was another mod just so I can pin this comment. Zuna's the only one that can pin at the moment. I don't know. I feel like I don't need a second one, but I guess Zuna... My god. So that confused me. I was like, I saw one and then I saw a second pin. Windrose is fun. Okay, noted, Heartless. Noted. Well, I'll have to give it a whirl at some point. My god. Okay, where do I... Where? Where? You are the chef. Okay, is it over there? So, again, this kind of goes back to using light or something to direct the player. Like this light here isn't enough at all. Oh, have I got to... Oh, have I got to guess the fucking thing? Am I missing something? Or have I really got to go through... Oh no, it's this, isn't it? It's... I've given up on that. I probably shouldn't, to be honest. I think... Oh my god. If you want a clue, let me know. Alright, give me a sec. And why is this perception... Why is that better than most things here at the moment? Is that it? Blue, yellow, green? Blue, yellow, green. Blue. Oh, don't care about you. Yes and no. What's this over here? Okay. Oh, there's stairs here as well. Okay, I didn't need to. There's a lot of other noises on top of stuff, and it's just a lot. Like, I didn't see Sass play this, but I could see Sass getting very overwhelmed with the music and then everything. The constant fucking... Okay, hang on. So... I'd have liked an achievement for shooting out the speakers. Yeah, I promise you sincerely, Sass did not get overwhelmed. Fucking hell, really? This is getting to me. Maybe it's just because I'm tired as well, maybe. I don't fucking know. It's just... Green. Alright, let's try green. Where the fuck's green at? I'll try this one, Scotch, and then if it's... No. Topping? No, that seems too... Actually, was there something... Wait, what was the reasoning to go back here? Anything? Any reason? Wait. Is that door... Okay. Oh, it's to get your tray before you go... Wait, no, but I couldn't pick that up. Okay. I'm confused. I'm confused. Oh my god. Scotch, do I have... I assume I don't. This game tells you the answer 3 different ways. Is it the posters? Posters, video... I was gonna say where the lights are, but everything's lit up, so I don't know. I thought this was meant to be abandoned. There's a lot of places here that's abandoned that it's not. Why is it not TV? Does it, can it sound like a TV again? The video isn't much of an answer, just a clue. Oh my god. Fucking hell, why is this the hardest part? So I'm gonna say blueberry is one. Oh, a slide. Why? What's the point? What's the point? Do a looping... I got an achievement for doing a barrel roll. But it was in this. I didn't even see the barrel roll. I didn't even know I did a barrel roll in this. Okay. Oh, I hate that it just... Why am I struggling at this part? I'm gonna try this. It's probably wrong. No. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, I'll just go fuck myself. So it is blueberry, banana, and then something else. Okay. I guess I'll just... Oh, there's strawberry seed. That does grow on you. Why? Why does it loop? Why does it loop? So that said chocolate. So, yeah, green. Who the fuck's this dude? Green. Do we have a... You? No, I've looked at you, haven't I? This guy. What the fuck is this? Is that a waffle? No, it can't be. Butter? I don't know. Chocolate. Where's chocolate at? Of course. Oh, but... Does it matter? Marshmallow? Oh my god. Okay. White chocolate? Oh, right, because it's white on the thing. Okay. Alright. Marty fucksake doesn't see color. I just see cacao. And I just went, oh, it's chocolate. I didn't even notice there was the white chocolate until it was too late. And I'm just getting shamed for it. Whatever, sass. Marty, look up. Oh. Oh. Who the f... Marty, go to the kitchen. Radio in the kitchen, LED lights on the roof, posters, and then and when that little oven door slot machine is closed. Man, I wish they told you what it was. I really wish they told you what it was. Maybe I'm too tired. Holy fuck. Why would you put... Why? What? Scotchy was singing along and still somehow missed it. Okay. Oh, do I have to pick up old mate? Where is he? Okay. Oh, my big fuckhead. Orange screams, I hate this fucking game. Yeah, look, okay, hold on. What do I have to pull it? I actually gotta press this one. You've just taught me to shoot those two. Why the hell would I? Okay. Okay. By the way, Sass got it right away. Yeah, but Smash? Oh my god. Sass is a better gamer than me. Marty, no, Sass, don't. No. I don't know. I don't know. Am I? Okay, so I've got to eat that. Okay. All right. Let's go back out here for a second. Oh my god, can we stop? Is there a... Okay. So I know there's 4 different ways of showing it, but I think if you've got the TV around everywhere, it's almost kind of been like, look at the TV to look at the posters. And I think I missed one of them. I missed the green kid. I also didn't know that there was chocolate over here. But I think the rest of these should have... They shouldn't be lit up. They should have utilized the dark space a little bit more. And then... Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna continue. Medusa, I got it first try. First try, Medusa. I feel like maybe the lights should have conked out over time as you struggle. Yeah, I think... Okay, so this is what you really see. So how the fuck did I get through this door then? I think that puzzle was dumb. So are these 2 sentient beings? Of course. Of course. Yep. Okay. Of course. Okay. Of course. Oh boy. Oh, he's just running. Oh, okay. Okay, so... Okay. 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 Oh, we're back here. Beautiful. Yep. And then that comes down. Okay. I really loved this. This crawling section, not being able to feel threatened at all. It's great. It's really good. I love this bit. And then this bit here where I can just kind of do nothing. He does that. But then I've got to run past and then I've got to run. Okay. Yep. Cool. And then... Of course. Oh, it's because I'm sleeping. So these are pre-rendered. That's why they look so good. They're not pre-rendered? Oh, they are. They are pre-rendered. Okay. Okay. Oh. Beautiful. Of course. You know what'd be cooler than to watch a pre-rendered cutscene is to play it. Why wasn't that a playable cutscene where you do that and it takes you back to where the cafe and you're sitting down and you actually have to interact with the cookie, and then all of a sudden that cookie turns to something, and then you've now got a chase sequence with but you don't know if it's real or not. Like, why was that a cutscene? Why? Oh, and there's just no music in this section. I can only tell that there's sound because I'm jumping and I can hear the sound. Why? Yeah. I really thought, because it would be easy to put one of those collectibles here in that chase sequence, because you're running past, you're not going to look over there, really. You're like, oh my God, this chase sequence is so immersive, and if I don't continue, I'm going to get my ass chomped. Cutscene in silence. You're so scary. Oh my God. Yeah, having that as a cutscene baffles me, to be honest. I am baffled. And I know they've got the pure silence here at the moment because it's meant to enforce when something is going to happen. However, oh boy. It's making me slow? Okay. Oh, am I meant to fall? He chucked me down, so I assume I meant to fall down, but I couldn't tell because there was no, or jump across. I don't fucking know. Or am I meant to drag them this way and then go in there? Oh yeah. Oh my God. So as he's coming up, yep. Oh, I go over here. Right. I thought I was just going to jump down. Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting choice to have the player turn back the way that you're not really looking. Okay. Okay. Of course, those two red arrows. Yes, this is all making sense. Perfect. That chase sequence. Made a whole lot of sense. Holy shit, how thick are these fucking floors? Okay. So that was interesting. So that was on the verge, from what I've seen, of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 chase sequence. That very last one, to the point where you just die and then you figure out where you go just because you keep on dying so much. I didn't like the idea of having to... There was no real, like, direction once you went up, super slow by the way, to then turn around to jump to the other side, to go through a door. Nothing was lit. Like, it's all lighting, really. It's all lighting. I think they're using lighting incorrectly for at least a horror game. I don't know how a child's meant to fucking get through all of this, really. Like, it's, especially that, especially the food puzzle. I don't know how a child's meant to do that. It's either I'm more dumb than a child, which is fine. Hello, Chippy. You good? No, that's the police. The police are outside. You okay? My dumb. Thank you, Zuna. There you go. You've been real cute and cuddly all stream, haven't you? All right, down you go. He good boy. He a really good boy. They better have a warrant to get to Notorious Chip. Yeah, he's on the run. He's on the run. So, okay, so I was in the boys section before, which makes sense. What doesn't make sense is how there was only... Was there less beds than what there is here? These are all... Are these all double? Oh no, these are... Oh, we got a mixture. Double. Singles. I need to move your tail because it's hitting my hand. Okay. Cool. Groovy. Now we're getting into the FNAF Poppy Playtime style area. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Glorious. So why wouldn't you... If I could go over here, why wouldn't you put a collectible here? I can't... There's no point in coming over here at all. There's no reason to do any of this. I'm gonna get halfway, it's gonna fall, is it? Okay. Okay. Oh, Chip, what are you doing? Get away from behind that. Get on. Thank you, Fishy. I appreciate that. Okay. Oh, and it'll come down here. Okay. So, I'm not meant to run back, but I wouldn't know that because the entire thing still stays up when I cross it, giving you kind of the false hope that you can go back. So what, I run... No, to the right? Or did I just kind of... Oh no, it does. You just don't. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Beautiful. Oh. There's my little thing. Sorry, my finger slipped. Sure it did, Fishy. Okay. Okay. Let me grab that. And they fight it out, I guess. Is this meant to be the atrium area that we were in? Yes, that's the way that we came in. Bombate's just gonna kill him. No. Yeah, okay. I don't think I'm faster than him. Of course. Oh, there we go. Oh. Thought I could make it through, but apparently that's an invisible wall there. The graphics are cool, perspective issues aside. And the music is good, but fucking why? Yeah. I think you're right. Like, the art style and the music are great. Sound is awesome. But why? Okay. Oh, I don't pick up thingy. Pick... Fucking... Okay. No. No. Oh. That? Okay. And then... So I'm here. Can it get... Can it get me while I'm in here? Yes. Yes, it can. Okay. All right. I shouldn't have to watch this again. Are we gonna get two? Are we gonna get two of them going? What is happening? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god, does that mean there's gonna be two of them afterwards? Okay. Okay. Yep. Fuck. I don't know what you're meant to do there. With two of them. How many can you spawn? I don't know. Gotta watch this again. I think it happened because I tried moving immediately when I could. Let me try again. So if I... Oh no, I'm back. Okay. So... we shoot that. Green light is for over here? No? That one's the only... Oh no, it's not the only lit up one. So I did that. Huh? Okay. Oh, it doesn't pause. Doesn't. That's okay. Hey, Ali, how you doing? Hello, Ali. Welcome in, Raiders. How we doing? What we got here? Hello, Sass. Welcome in. Hey, Medusa. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Purple. Thanatos. Miri. Ali, how you going? Keep calm. It doesn't pause, it's so annoying. I just found that out. I had two before, actually. I don't know how I got two. I was fucking ass at this chapter. So I'm not doing good. Yeah, I really struggled at the food bit. Apparently that was really easy for some people. But yeah, I know, it didn't really make much sense to me. And here, I don't really know. We got green Of course. Of course. That makes sense. Of course. Very cool. that does look pretty yummy, to be honest. Like this bit up here, whatever it's made out of, I could see that being pretty good. If this doesn't start spinning, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with this if it doesn't start spinning.
Welcome to the second floor, kids. Are you ready to submit?
Thrasher Kitty, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. What? What? So that was never meant to spin. I assumed you'd sit on it and it would be like a fucking attraction, but it's clearly to take you down to the second floor. But then, wasn't that just the atrium from the first section that you walk into? But different? Or is it at the other end? Yeah. It looked like the same... Because if I don't care, sure, whatever. I'm just going in just to have a look at this first section because it was almost, I still don't understand at all, and I don't. Yeah, so that's going down to, well, they'll probably say it's to the second floor, but I reckon they'll bring that back to be like, it's you going down to the fourth floor. And it'll come back later at some point. Because there's a lot of flashes that you see through this that I assume will be brought up in later. Okay, yep, don't care. Give me the thing. Give me the thing. Give me the thing. I don't care.
The carousel's alive.
Speedrun. Fuck.
The carousel's alive.
Actually, I'm pretty... Okay. Let's quickly do it just to see actually how much game time there is. So I'm at 9... It's 9:26 now.
Welcome
Did I pick
to
up? I didn't.
World
Give
of
me.
Imagination.
Speedrun's off to a shit start.
World of hopes and dreams. A place your child will always remember.
Okay.
They will build, they will climb, they will never stop. Their hopes too high to ever drop. Because here at Upward, the only way is up.
Okay, so while that's doing its thing, we do this. I really feel like there's going to be... I reckon you can do it in 30 minutes. I say, as... Ah! Why is that a thing? Oh my god, speedrun's off to a shit... No, what do you... Oh my god. Fucking hell. Ali, good night. Everyone say night-night to Ali. Okay. Jesus. I'm actually really curious to see how much gameplay there is. God, now that I know. I still don't understand why you'd need to destroy all those. 50 minutes, I'll call it now. I reckon 30. I could see me forgetting how to do the library again. But then everything after that is pretty straightforward, right? Man's was going to be a short stream today. Yeah, it's still short. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes. It's fine. Actually, curious. Does that kill me? No, it doesn't. Interesting. I'm off to bed as well. One, because it's late here, and two, because I'm honestly done with this game. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Medusa Nunite. Everyone say Nunite to Medusa. I am done with this game as well. I'm just really curious to see how much game there is. Like, fuck no, I was meant to do that one. And then, oh fuck. Yeah. Oh. Oh, no, okay. Go back, dude. The cutscenes eat time. Yeah, I have a feeling that the cutscenes are going to be a bit of a time sink. Yep, and then this one. No? Have I done goofed? Oh, no, there we go. Oh god, not the omelet man thing again. No. Omelet Dan. Because, like, there is... What, for the 7... Oh, actually, thinking about it, this is only... You only pay for chapter 1, right? You don't pay for each individual chapter. Because I was going to say, yeah, it's kind of makes sense to only pay for, you know, that much and you get all of it. But... You? No, I need that one. That, for some reason, that's blue. I still don't know why I can't shoot through that. That seems a bit stupid. Thought you paid for every chapter. Yeah, yeah, okay. Because even Poppy, right, that's pretty expensive. Oh, I just got an achievement for hearing the M1 Grand. Oh no, I've got to fucking sit. Okay, that's fine. That's kind of cool. Then I have to pay for just one.
To Upward, where the only way
Yeah,
I
assumed it was going to be kind of that, but then it makes sense as well to pay per chapter in a way. It's weird that this isn't given away for free then. Because if this was free, you'd probably feel a little bit better with playing this. You'd be like, look, I mean, it's okay for a freebie. But the fact that you basically pay for this one, and then you kind of like, it's pretty shit. No thanks. Where's my dude? Why isn't he following?
Please be seated.
Okay, so that flashback is of the second level door. I mean, actually, I couldn't see them thinking that far ahead, and I reckon the flashback at the start is of level 2. Good night, Marty in chat. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Be right, everyone. Nunite Dan. Everyone say Nunite Dong. I mean Dan. Danger Dong.
It's a
Donga Dan.
You are not broken. You are incomplete. Compliance is comfort. Resistance
so seeing that the second level is for
will be observed.
Submitting or whatever. There's what, 4 chapters then?
In every response,
I actually haven't had a look at how many chapters there are.
You will learn to play our way. You will learn to love.
But I feel like if they turned off all the lights and had the focus here and they took away the gun,
submit, conform, consume.
This stop would have been a bit more impactful in a way, because you can't fuck up the screen. Why did that take so long? Yeah, so that whole thing Oh, I didn't even notice the papers before. Four for each of the brainwash levels. Yeah. So this one is... Oh, actually... No, the second level is for submit, right? This level isn't any of this. Circle... Circle, EU... Oh, no, fuck. It's not that, it is... Oh, wait, green circle? Yeah, green circle. Oh, it's in the order, isn't it? That's right. So yeah, so with that, there should be 5 chapters. Yeah, no, you're right. That's what I was getting at. Marty, your cam is so crisp, you might as well be in the room with us. What? Oh. We have Sass to thank for that as well. Before I was still using this camera. But no, Sass, no. You brought it to my attention. And we were like, yeah, why is my camera actually blurry? And I had a bit of a gander, and it's because auto exposure was just on by default. So that's why everything was blurry. And yeah, anyway, we fixed it, and now it's super crisp. So W Sass. Yeah, told him his cam was shit, and this how it worked, yeah. Yeah. Wait, where's my thing? I swear I had my thing at this point. 360p effects. At least this time it wasn't, because Sass had it set to 3. Oh my god, Sass, did you really? Hey, Gub, how we doing? It's Gub. It's Gub. Everyone say, it's Gub to Gub. Sass wasn't watching on 360. I told Dan his cam was shit, but it was me, not him. Oh. Okay. Oh no, I gotta do the loop. Yep. Sass told Dan his cam was shit. Don't turn it, yeah. Classic Sass. Oh, I didn't even walk through it yet. Okay. Okie dokie. I feel like I shouldn't be able to jump some of these. I don't reach the height to make some of those jumps, but I guess I do. I don't know. Bugs. Then the B movie. Oh, fuck. All right. Actually, before we go there, we're gonna just have a quick look at this map, because I feel like it's only got the one. Yeah, so it's only got the one atrium, which is this section here. Unless, because that's the library. Boys. Yeah, we literally go around the whole thing. So library, boys, cafeteria, girls, gymnasium, and then you go back into the first one. So why is it different when you go there the second time? It don't make sense. No. Anyway, guess who forgot it was a public holiday today and that all the Coles and Woolies are closed? Oh no. So what's the middle one? The one with the star? Don't know. It's outside and you don't actually go there at all. The carousel is a lie. Oh my god. Fuck, they tell us at the start. So we're at the 10-minute mark now. We started at 29. And we're about, what, halfway through? This is halfway through-ish, I think. Man, I had to get a meal from 7-Eleven. It's so shit. Oh no. Hey, don't shame my culture. I actually did go to 7-Eleven as well, and I got Zuna a sausage roll. Good old 7-Eleven snag. Sausage. Yeah. So how long does this go for? If I don't peek, how long does this go for? I should have gone for a sussy roll. What did you go, Gub? What did you go? Weird potato bake thing. And it was dog shit. Oh no. Oh, I've got to look at him. I've got to do this. How long do I have to do that for? So I don't like this as just like this should be a time thing. If you don't, because then you've got the choice to peek or not peek. Because players won't do what you specifically say here and will wait it out. However, if it is for I don't know, I peeked before. Do you have to be noticed by... No, because I'm going to die, and now I'm going to hear all of that again. Why did he put me... I got plugged. I did, but I don't know how that would kill me, though. So... it really should just be a fucking time thing. Like, it's... Let me pick it up. Thank you. Fucking... That was 3 minutes of him sucking himself, by the way. Disgusting. Might it be so thrilled taking that thing would kill you? That is true. But he went from the front, though. Actually, can I pick this up? No, didn't think so. Didn't think so. And now we're going to hear the Omelette Man.
Hello, kids. I used to make omelettes, but today we make a very special cookie.
Omelette. Omelette time.
Song so you can sing along.
Omelette.
Hope we don't get it wrong.
Omelette.
Here we go.
Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. I have a cookie I baked last night. Just get all the ingredients right. I have some fruits and sweetness as well. Make it right and you won't swell. La 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 la. La 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 da da da. Like nobody can. Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man.
My god. Come on. Give me the fucking tray. Give me the tray. Give it to me. Give it to me. Don't walk away from it. Give it. Give it. Banana. Oh my god. Wait. Why is there no stairs? When do the stairs get there? Huh? But there's stairs thereafter. We saw the stairs before. There was stairs there last time. Is it here now? No? We saw the stairs. We went... Oh no, I forgot the blueberries. I swear we walked down the stairs before. Or am I just am I just blocking that out? Oh, there's a wheel to turn, I think. No, we did. They aren't low. Oh. Oh. Okay. This song might be my 13th reason. What do you mean? I don't know what the point of adding this in is. This gelato one? Don't know. Do you get an achievement for getting it the first time round? I hope it doesn't change. Thank God. No, you don't get an achievement. Where's my dude? I need my dude. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to shoot. Why is he... Ugh. I just filled in a do not resuscitate because of this song. Yeah. Yeah, slam it, daddy. So much of this screams, I had this idea to animate this thing, we'll shove it in, fuck gameplay or story there. Yeah, I think... It's definitely giving me the same kind of vibe as what I've seen from Replaced, right? And I think, Scotch, you mentioned it on a stream, or someone mentioned on your stream, Scotch, was that they made a really cool 80s synth soundtrack, and they're like, let's make a game to that. And they're like, oh, oh fuck, well, we've only got about 30 minutes of story. Yeah, let's do some padding. This seems like, from what you were saying on your stream, was that they're an animator, or a group of animators, and they're like, oh my, this part, okay. Alright. Okay. They had an idea for this creature to fucking fuck himself because he's a big baby or something. But no, that's kind of a weird premise. But yeah, they had an idea of making all of these cool set pieces, but they didn't know how to piece it together. And why are you doing all this stuff? All these things? I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Are you a kid? Are you an adult? Doesn't matter. None of it matters. I don't know what the red footprints are meant to be. That's the second time we've in a chase we've seen the red footprints. And I don't understand why the red footprints are there. And I don't know why... Oh, we just got a weird loading screen. This would have been cool to fucking play. This section, don't know why it's cinematic. Yeah, I think Sass mentioned that fish. This big does kids animations, which makes sense because this is very. Yeah, you know what I get actually thinking about this? I think I've got links disabled, Sass. Sorry. But But if you DM it, I'll bring it up after stream and we can... or bring it up after this, because I'll be curious to see what kind of animations that they do. But just kind of going from that, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like the brain rot kind of shit with the cookie that all the kids are into. Oh boy. Oh, I'm so scared. Let me just go up this really slow. Nothing says add tension than to a player that is going at one centimeter per second. Riveting. No, what's not disabled? I don't know. What's not disabled? Also, I'd really like to check out, like, this room here. This seems like a cool room. Don't ever get to do that. Thank you for the fart, Mandy. Do. All the Steam page screenshots are much better than it in-game. And so is the trailer. If you watch the trailer as well on the Steam page, it is pretty much... It doesn't go into these sections. It's very much like the first half-ish of the... of this first 20 minutes, and it looks much better, and it's because it's all pre-recorded. It's not pre-recorded, pre-rendered in a way, with various things being in-game. Fuck, we almost got to the 20-minute mark actually. Wait, no. Yeah, 20 minute. It would have been 20. Thank you, Gub, for the fart, by the way. Because we started at 9:29, and it's now 9:50. And I grab you, and then I've got to go around to the other side, because why the fuck do I have to? And then... basically 20 minutes. You can get this much... quicker than 20 minutes. I stuffed up the puzzle, right? But that wasn't really speedrunning. That was just knowing what to do. 20 minutes. And then obviously like the cutscenes, like you take out all the cutscenes and it would be what? 12 minutes? Like... Wait till the speedrunners find the backwards long jump. Oh man. That you can get like 5,000 units per second. Just speeding through. Or you can glitch through walls. Yeah, okay, so there's the red light. So we've got one person art. Two person art. We have a design and production. We have a programming. We have animation. That's 5 people. We have 6 audio and music, 7 for more music. So a team of 7. So there was 2 artists, game design and production, 2 animators, and 2 music. What was that? No riders. No. And the issue was that like obviously you can have I'm coming out of this, Jesus. Come out of that. You can have a multi faceted team, like, you know, you've got one for someone doing design and production. However, the fact that there was only one person doing design and production, did these guys have a... No, okay, so self-published. So basically that means they could have published at any time. At any time they could have published because they didn't have a third party. So if I do... Yeah. What? I do this. Fuck, I forgot about the flip. that got me. So yeah, so 7-person team, cool. That's pretty good for 7 people. However, they would have had the game designer do the writing. They would have had the game designer doing actually, I'm curious if the level designer would have done the the game designer would have done the level design, because I've worked in a couple teams where, and it's a very old school way of thinking of doing it, would be the art team would actually do the levels uh, rather than a level designer. So the level designer would maybe do like a rough paper outline of it, and then the artist would be like, cool, okay, and then make that into a 3D environment, and then the game designer would go through adding Chip, buddy, come on. I know, it's nice and warm, isn't it? There you go. You can come say hey to the nice people. And then the game designer would come through adding all the elements into it. However, okay. Yeah. Do we get some bunny kicks? Any bunny kicks? No, you just there's just feet up in the air. I don't know. You're gentle. Gentle. Lick, licks, licks. And then, Hmm? You good? You got a bit of you got some eye crusties. You got some eye crusties? Okay. You don't want me to get the eye crusties. That's fine. So yeah, I think that game, they should have had it cooking for a little bit longer, I think. And maybe had a writer come through and maybe write something. Anything. Bit of a shame. But at least it looked good on my way to pat the cat. You hear that? Gub's on her way. Rah, rah. I think they might build a storyline based on the response they get from chapter 1. I think that's the issue, Thanatos. I think that's the issue. They need to, if you're going to do a chapter-based thing, you should have the story and the writing kind of planned out beforehand. And that's what the issue with Poppy Playtime was that they didn't know where they were going from what I've read. They kind of did the first chapter and then, maybe based on the feedback gone from there. But that's why you go back to chapter 1 and there's nothing for future future monsters, future critters, future anything. It's all very sorry, he's kicking. It's all very contained. So everything that you don't need any prior knowledge. You don't need any prior knowledge. And if they don't have a thought out plan for the rest of these, that's a huge thing, because then they're just going to go down the path of Poppy Playtime. Have they made any other games? That is a good question, actually. Haven't dived in. they have this, which looks much more like what you'd expect from an indie team. Doesn't look as polished as that. And it is a demo. However, there is a huge difference between this and what we just played. So, and if they're a team of 7 and they're also working on this as on the side, and obviously this doesn't really need a story. I reckon this Dark Pals was their first attempt at a story, and the designer thinks it's enough, maybe? But I don't know. And like these all look good. Like it looks scary. That kind of gives scary vibes. That doesn't give scary vibes. This kind of gives scary vibes. I don't know why you'd add such a smug smug picture to your screenshots, but man. Hey, we're going to attempt a story, but not write one. The kids will love it. Yeah, I don't. Bravo, devs. Yeah, why can't you pause the game? I know in the night shift, you can't pause it, and I thought about adding it as an option. But it's also a game where it's not fast paced, and you're not getting chased. If you want to stop a chase in the night shift, you just turn around and then it stops, right? Mind you, the flashlight is annoying, and I get that. But this, like, if you needed to pause, like, for example, when Ali came in, I needed to pause. Like a story doesn't need to be deep for something like Dark Powers, but just why are we here? What is this place? Why do you care? Yeah. But there is no story, no? Or have I missed it? That artwork and everything is very good for the theme for the game, but the character development and storyline wasn't there. No, exactly. And that's what we're saying, Thanatos, is that there's no reason for anything. Like this trailer here, this doesn't happen. He goes in there and then just vanishes. So, Scotch, this is what I was saying, was because I watched this and I was like, oh, it's a horror game. An attempt of horror game. Like, you're running backwards through this cafeteria and then he's there and it's like, oh. I wouldn't be surprised. If they recorded this trailer and they hadn't had everything finalized, and then they've had to change things around because playtesters were like, it doesn't make sense. So then if they've had to change it around, and playtesters are like, this is much better. But they forgot other stuff. Like, also, it doesn't make sense. And now that I'm thinking about it, this recording here that you find in one of the staff areas, this seems more of an induction video than somewhere that would be in an actually operating room and operating and functional room. This would be one where you have elsewhere in the the training area. Because by the time you get to this room, you would know, oh, right, I need to make sure the kids are brainwashed. I need to make sure that they have their cookie, their blah, 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 blah. There's no reason for this one to be here outside of telling the player what they need. I don't know. I don't know. And like the trailer is pretty, like it also kind of portrays the dog character as a like as an enemy basically, but he's really not. And it's meant to be a twist, but it's not because I don't know. And it's hard, like it's their first published game. However, I think it should have been a free chapter. This should have been free and basically gone down the route of Poppy Playtime. It should have been free, and then the next chapter is paid. Not much of a twist in a 30-minute game. No, 100%. This is, that's... And maybe they thought, what's that in US? That would be, if it's $9.67, that would be $7 or $6 something American. I don't know. Like, I think you could have got away with doing this one for free, and then the next chapter paying that, having that as paid for, $15, because that's one thing that Poppy Playtime, I think chapter 1 did really well. And I didn't actually play that before, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I played it for the first time, and it didn't scare me at all, but I was like, I enjoyed it enough to get the second chapter. And then the second chapter was like, okay, it's pretty samey, but this one, probably, it would be hard for me to be offered Dark Powers the second floor. If I see that, I probably wouldn't be like, I wouldn't run out. I wouldn't run out to the Steam shop and be like, one Dark Powers second floor, please. Very, very interesting choices of everything in that. But hey, it looked good. It looked good. Night taters. Everyone say night to taters. Get some sleep, you beautiful, beautiful man. The thing is, nothing about this makes me want more. At least Poppy interested enough to keep going. Yeah. No, 100%. Like, Poppy Playtime. Immediately. Good use of lighting. Like, this, using the light to highlight the thing that you should be looking at. What? Like, I think that was my biggest issue through that. And obviously, like, it's not, we came to the conclusion that it's not a horror game. It's a kid, a kid thriller. I don't even know, but I see Poppy Playtime being way more of a horror game, even though it is very cheap jump scares. Thank you for the Hydrate M. But immediately when you play chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime, you're immediately like, oh, the what are they? Animatronics? No, the puppets, whatever they are, have come to life and they've killed everyone here. You get that from chapter 1. It's abandoned. It looks abandoned. Yeah, the toys are evil. Any human that was here is now dead. Night Gabs, no worries. Get to sleep. Everyone's saying night Gab. Night Gab. Night. But in Dark Powers, I don't know. Like, what's evil? What's not evil? Because the pink baby dude, it was he evil? Oh, God. Was he evil? I don't know. Like, it seemed like the top half of him wasn't evil. The bottom half was. Or like after kids, but then why was he after you? And it brings back, are you a kid? Are you an adult? At least in Poppy Playtime, you know, you're an adult. I think. Yeah, a kid wouldn't be able to do all that. I think if you're a kid, it would tell you, right? He was fucking degen with that self-soothing. Yeah, that was, yeah. Binky was evil for blowing himself, period. Yeah, Scotchy knows it. Yeah. Look, I think it's an achievement for the 7-person team to actually get something out that's not a demo as well. Like that's a huge achievement for them, and I hope that they get all the negative and the critical feedback, and they take it on board for the second chapter, and they fix it. They do something. They bring it back to horror. They bring it to horror. But I don't know. Like compared to Poppy, I think I'd prefer to play Poppy Playtime all the chapters compared to Dark Pals. I don't know. Anyway, same with FNAF. You instantly get to know if you're a guard or a kid. 100%. Yeah, they're in Security Breach. You find out immediately that you're a kid. Okay, passing out farewell, everybody. Scotch, good night. Thank you so much as well. Oh, thank you for gifting me the game. Yes, that is all. But no, I'm glad to have caught up with you on the weekend, man. It was really good, and I know Zuna feels the exact same. But get some sleep. Get some sleep, you gorgeous man. Everyone say nice Scotchy if you haven't already. It's crazy that you can. It's a parody of a game, and it attempts to make fun of it, but it doesn't do as well. I don't even know. Don't even know. Is my Discord going to open up? Yep. Okay. Let's have a look. So this is the. So this is what SAS sent through. So this is them. The animator. So this is the release trailer. Oh yeah. So they've done brain rot videos. They're basically okay. So this is why I really felt like that cinematic, the dreamlike cinematic was very brain rot, is because they do brain rot videos. So this is a game meant for kids that digest brain rot. 6, 7, whatever the fuck this is. Labubu's, Italian brain rot, Minecraft. I don't want to watch one because then it's going to be in my fucking algorithm. Fuck, what was that? Fish. Get away with the gnome. Fucking gnomes. So yeah, so they do songs. I assume, actually, oh, fuck. If I have to listen to it, so do you. So they're good with... Pause you. So they're good with animation. Let's watch another one. Okay, it does feel a bit weird. Big W, big price drops, everyone. Just remember that. Big W, big price drops. And McDonald's. Get your Macca's feeds in. Oh, delicious. Oh, I can skip. Okay, before we continue, Big W is what I think about the Not Marty stream. Fish. Oh, Grim, you got boogered. Oh, no, Sass, it's already in mine. I watched one, but was rough. Ugh. Is there incognito for YouTube? Yeah, that's what I'm currently in now. I hope. I hope none of this leaks into my algorithm. It feels really weird to be animating basically, and like I've spoken about this before. Indie games and indie devs aren't competing in the terms of marketing, right? In the terms of sales, but they are in a way in marketing. In my head, if you're doing this seems really strange. If you're doing a mascot horror game and you have, you know, you're pretty far in development. This came out 2 weeks ago. Dark Powers just came out. Just came out. Did it just come out? 3 days ago. But this video came out 2 weeks ago. It feels really strange that you've animated not once, 2, 3, 4 Poppy Playtime videos. That feels really weird to me. And I know, like, this should have been on a separate channel, not on the main. Is it it's the main channel for the, or is it just the animator? Because if it's just that and they're not real, I don't know, it seems really weird. It's almost like it's not AI, is it? In Dark Powers? Oh, actually, I don't know. But the issue is, I didn't notice any in game, but they might have. But then if you don't notice it and you don't specify it here, unless someone says, oh, this is AI, you can kind of not, right? Like, it's at the developer's discretion to, and until you're caught. Again, it's against Steam TOS to not disclaim it. But if you don't and you don't get caught, it's not a thing. Not saying that there's AI in this at all, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. In terms of this stuff, I know he's oh my God. KFC ad. The other thing, if you look at their website, they already have plushies for sale. That's weird. Blah. It's like, this is all well done. You know? Animation, the modeling, all very well done. Okay, I don't want to watch it all actually, but it feels really weird. I don't know. I don't know. View shop, merchandise, yeah. Buy. Yeah, okay, so they have. Oh. So this will be what's next. That'll be what's next. The bear friender? I don't know. So they've kind of got an idea of what's coming. Like, you know, they are working on the next chapter and whatever, but if you do that, does it give you more? So yes, they've got all this lore. So that there's probably more lore here than there was in chapter 1. Just. And then these are the plushies. I assume this is American as well. Limited time. So you can only get these for a limited time. Interesting. So Enter Dark Pals just takes me back to here. Dossier. Okay, so these aren't necessarily the devs here, but this is the people that you see in game. Yeah, so hold up. Hold up. Why isn't any of this in game? Maybe not these two. Not that one. Not these two. But the people that you see, so you see all of these. This guy's at the end, but these 4 you see well before. Why aren't these in game? This lore? Why is it not in game? It could have been a fucking note. This is. It's weird. It truly is weird. And like these guys, we haven't even. You don't see. What the fuck is Dark Pal? New. Well, that's the musician guy. This one here. This is odd. It's so weird to not have any of this information, this lore here. Because this, yeah, it wouldn't fix the game. It wouldn't fix the game at all. But giving the option, and it's the same issue that I think I've got with Silent Hill F as well, is the fact that you've got to play it four or something times to understand the actual game. This could have been on a summarized version of it, could have been on a VHS or a note or somewhere. I assume that we'll see this later on and it'll be like a cell or something, right? I'm confused. Why make game good if you can be mediocre and then sell it to the pre-established fans? Yeah. WoW going all in on this game. I think they are. I think that's probably why they're charging so much, is because they have. You know what it feels like, actually? It feels like they do have a publisher. Because no indie team is is 3 days after launch. Did this have a Kickstarter at all? No. No, they didn't. Juniper creates Juniper. So I'm deep diving now. So they partnered with them. So these guys would obviously take a cut. It's a partner. If you'd like to seriously discuss creating and launching physical products with Juniper, email this person. Include your ideas for how we can use merchandise to create a compelling story for you and reach your audience. Interesting. So that doesn't make sense. Include your ideas for how we can use merchandise to create a compelling story and for you to reach your audience. Who the fuck's getting these? Oh, Nunite Jetta. Everyone say Nunite to Jetta. Could have been written after the game was done. It could have been. It could have been. But then it's... I mean, I don't think... I would expect those to be in the game somehow. In some form, at least something. You know, having a note around being like, oh, Mr. Grin's at it again. He's wanted by the authorities or something. And then Jesse and Corey have gone down to the lower levels because Mr. Grin's being a bitch or something. Or, you know, Jesse's gone down because he can't contain Binky and Chomper anymore, and he's scared, and he's gone down to level 2 to meet up with Corey, and so they can discuss person to person, supervisor to floor manager, something. Like there's ways to do it. There is ways to do it, and I think, yeah, look, you know, you know, all right. I've had it. I'm done. I'm done with deep diving. Oh man. Short stream. Yeah. I'm wrapping up now, I promise. I gotta have some dinner. It's like they had a contract to fulfill, gotta sell some merch. I think so. I wonder if that's what it is. They've taken some money to be like, look, we'll make the merch if you give us this much, or like we'll let you do the merch for this game. It's got this many wish lists. We'll sell this many copies, or expected to do. But yeah, I mean, it could have gone 100 ways, but it really does feel like something's not 100%, and I'm curious to see where they go. Not saying that I'll get it, but the Doodle Doomer, that's what they call me on the weekends. And like, that's the thing. I didn't know the name of that red crate. I was like, what the fuck's this red thing? There should have been some hint somewhere that you come across a VHS or something to be like, you know, the Doodle Dreamer's at it again. Is walking along the walls. And then it's like, fuck, what's the Doodle Dreamer? Oh, maybe that's the thing that I saw on the wall once. I don't know. Whatever, Trevor. All right. We gotta figure out where we're raiding into. Short stream, by the way. Let's go. You know what? Let's do something fun. Let's do something fun. We Cheza raided into us a couple weeks ago. Let's raid into Cheza. They are playing Plate Up at the moment, and they're doing solo. But you can join as a customer by the looks of it. So I'm going to do something fun. It's called Sleep. Yeah, that'll be me after I get some food, actually. But yeah, no, if you're going to be joining the raid, feel free to use one of these messages, these little messages here. If you are subbed, you get to use the second one with the animations. None-Eye Fishy, None-Eye Mandy. Thank you for popping in as well. I appreciate you both. How do I spell Cheza? There we go. But yeah, no, we're going to raid into Cheza. Thank you all for being here and experiencing that for probably a third or fourth time. It's interesting to see, but yeah, we'll get it. We'll get there. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything to say. I'll probably do another stream later this week. If you care enough, feel free to join the Discord. I've been trying to put a schedule there. I didn't put tonight's in there as more of a bonus one, but my YouTube's there if you want to watch any past or future VODs or content. But yeah, trying to be a little bit more active in the Discord, which I haven't today. But yes, no, thank you all for being here. And, yeah, it's a weekday. Got to go back to work tomorrow. Not looking forward to that. But no. Okay, that's me. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, have a lovely night, lovely week, and I'll see you sometime through the week. All right. Bye-bye.